And Representative Lee, as I mentioned before the committee meeting, that we're going to hold this over.
Okay.
And I just want to make a commitment to you that I will personally work with you, making sure that we get this bill in the manner that we want it, in the language that we want it, so that we can go forward with it the next time we bring it before the committee.
Well, thank you,
So,
Mr. Chair. Appreciate that.
Yes. And thank you for the treats.
So, Mr. Chair, House File 2206, I do have an amendment. I don't know if we will be moving it here in this committee.
Representative Lee, your bill is before us. I understand that you have an author's amendment,
Yes.
A170190, to get your bill in the form of your author, of what you want. Everybody have a copy of the author amendment? As you lick your fingers eating your donuts? Are there any, would you talk about your amendment?
Mr. Chair, so the A17 amendment will no longer make this a state holiday. Instead, this amendment will designate May 14th as the Hmong and Lao Veterans Day.
Okay.
And it also deletes some of the language that was in the original bill that asked the governor to issue a proclamation to lower flags to have staff on the Capitol malls and to allow businesses, if they choose, to let their employees take holiday off. So it delete that language.
And for the committee, I want to let you know that Representative Lee came into my office. We sat down, chatted about the language and so forth, and he has put together, I think, a good amendment. And was there another amendment? Which one is it? I think we have another amendment, too. Yeah. 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 Is there any other discussions on the author's amendment? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Amendment is adopted. I have it in front of me. And the other amendment is the A2 amendment. And that's my amendment, and basically what the A2 amendment does, it substitutes the language, the Hmong and Lao with the Southeast Asian allies, and again, this is what we discussed, and so any questions about the A2 amendment?
Mr. Chair, members, I would encourage this is as a friendly amendment to help support this. Thank you.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The A2 amendment is adopted. So, Representative Lee.
Mr. Chair and members, House File 2206 as amended will designate May 14th as Southeast Asian Allies Veterans Day to recognize and honor the Southeast Asian people who suffered, sacrificed, or died in the secret war in Laos from 1961 to 1965 in support of our U.S. Armed Forces. And many of these individuals were responsible for saving the lives of many American soldiers and pilots. And many of the gentlemen here today in the stand have served alongside our American service members, and one of them will share his experience shortly. And, you know, the sacrifice of our allies and their families were significant in the Hmong community alone. It is estimated that there were at least 35,000 deaths out of an estimated population of 100,000 in Laos. And unfortunately, I do not have the numbers for the other Southeast Asian communities. And May 14th is a significant day because it was the last day of evacuation of officers and their families from the covert operations in Long Tien, Laos to the Nang Phong refugee camp in Thailand. And Mr. Chair and members, before I turn it over to my testifier, I think that this designation will help Minnesotans recognize the contributions of our Southeast Asian allies veterans during the Secret War in Laos. And beside me, I have Mr. Tu Fu Vang, who held the rank of Lieutenant Colonel in the Special Guerrilla Unit, or SGU for short, and is a current advisor to the SGU veterans in Minnesota.
Okay. Welcome, Colonel Tu Vu Yang. Please introduce yourself for the record.
Your Honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lieutenant Colonel Tu Fu Wang. My American name is Ernie or Ernest. I was in General Wang Bao's aide camp, cabinet chief, and liaison officer from 1969 to 1975. As Lao American veterans, we honor all American veterans of all wars. In regard to General Vesey, we know that General Vesey was a good friend of General Wang Bao. General Vesey visited General Wang Bao regularly in Laos and in America. Therefore, we support wholeheartedly for the proposed project for General Vesey. I'm here to request you, our honorable House of Representatives, to approve a request by the Lao Hmong veterans to continue to use May 14 to celebrate and remember their war colleagues, both the dead and the survivors of the U.S. Secret War in Laos from 1961 to 1975. They have been celebrating this Lao Hmong Memorial Day for the past 7 years. And last year, the governor and the Senate officially recognized this day as a one-time approval for the Lao Hmong veterans with a proclamation. May 14 signifies the heroic leaving of Military Region 2 in Laos under the former General Wang Bao's leadership by negotiating with our American ambassador to fly 3,500 of his military and civilian leaders and their families out of their headquarters to Thailand by air. May 14 was also a day of mourning for the loss of thousands of their soldiers and civilians who perished behind by communist retaliations for our people for being ally of the United States. Many perished in the jungle by communist ambushes, hunger, and many were drowned in the Mekong River trying to flee to Thailand. This is why May 14 means so much for the Lao Hmong veterans. Your compassion to officially recognizing this day to the Lao Hmong veterans will greatly be appreciated by all Lao Hmong Americans in Minnesota. To summarize the successful of the U.S. Secret War in Laos, please allow me to read the comments by Mr. Richard Helms, director of the agency, as follows. Quote, "The Secret War in Laos was the largest paramilitary operation ever undertaken by the agency. For more than 13 years, the agency directed native forces that fought major North Vietnamese best divisions to a standstill. Although the country eventually fell to the communists, the agency remained proud of its accomplishment in Laos. The director further observed that this was a major operation by the agency. It took manpower, It took special qualified manpower. It was dangerous. It was difficult. The agency did a superb job. Thank you for your time.
Representative Lee, do we have other testimonies?
Yes.
Mr. Diamond, please introduce yourself.
Thank you. Tom Diamond, Chair, members of the committee. It's a real honor to speak on behalf of this bill of Representative Lee.
And Mr. Diamond, maybe I should first, is that we have some people that are visiting us and our allies that served as allies during the war in Vietnam. Would you please stand and be recognized? So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Diamond.
Thank you, Chair. Committee members, after I got out of the service, a couple of things that I did was I had the good fortune to work for the Minnesota Senate for a number of years, and then also served on the City Council of St. Paul. And during that period of time, I was able to help work on some of the resettlement issues and trying to resettle in this community from the camps in Thailand. And what in my district now, there is roughly a third of the population among families. And over the years, I've had the opportunity to meet with, socialize with, be graciously allowed in their homes, spend time with them. And when you think of the contribution that these individuals have provided for this country and our service members, it's incredible. But it's also, when you see the settlement of these members in our families, as Minnesotans, as members, our neighbors, and you see not only the service members, our generation, but you see their children, their grandchildren, and you're able to have these conversations amongst them and to see not only what they did, but the pride that their families have in what they did and the role they played in as fellow Minnesotans. It's always a danger to speak against an amendment of the chair, but I would just comment as this goes forward and what has to pair up with what the Senate bill that went through the committee the other day, is I would hope that we don't diminish at all in any way the significance of the Hmong, and that's not to take anything away from any of the other allies in Southeast Asia. But that date, and talking earlier, that date is a very important date that has great meaning to the Hmong veterans. And I think to the degree we can highlight that and also honor the other allies of that time, I think is a very important thing to do. And so I'm greatly honored to speak in behalf of this, in behalf of this legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Diamond. Other testifiers? Mr. Dunne.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, fellow committee members. My name is Ralph Donnet. I'm the chairman of the United Veterans Legislative Council, and I myself can thank these gentlemen because I was in Vietnam twice, and I have no doubt in my mind that what they did, as well as the other Southeast Asian veterans groups, did help save my life and many Americans. So as long as all the Southeast Asia veterans are included into this, I think it's a great idea because a lot of those groups aren't considered veterans in the United States. They may have moved here, refugees from Vietnam and Cambodia and other places, and all of those folks should be included because they all help the armed forces of the United States. And I've been involved a couple of times out in, trying to think of the suburb out there. I'm from Elk River, so, but like out in Brooklyn Park or somewhere, a couple of times I was involved with the celebration of the folks that came. And I think it's only just that we do something for them because, like I say, they're not considered an American veteran per se. So let's do what we can to help this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dene. Any other testifiers? Yes, please come forward. And please introduce yourself.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I'm Mary Gilbert from the St. Paul Public Schools, and you know we probably have the largest population of Hmong and other allied students in our district. And when this was introduced and heard yesterday in the Senate, I was asked to contact the education stakeholders about the provision in the bill that is permissive, that allows schools to acknowledge the day if the bill would pass. And I have talked to the Minnesota School Boards Association, and they said that they would help districts acknowledge the day and provide information, and that as long as the language stays permissive, they're supportive of the bill.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And Representative Lee, you know, I will be working with you personally. I'll be one of the co-authors. And just maybe to talk about something that's kind of related. If you look back, I got up early this morning. I was thinking about your bill. And I looked up some legislation that I worked on back in 2008. And the bill, it was authored by Representative Howes, H-O-W-E-S. He's not representative anymore. But he was a high school friend with a Mrs. Finneman, who's lives in Forest Lake, and I've known her for years. Her brother fought in Vietnam and came back and committed suicide. And she came to me and Representative Howes and wanted to designate a day in Minnesota as the Vietnam War Day. So we worked on this legislation, and the bill would designate March 29th of each year as Vietnam Veterans Day in Minnesota, and honor both living and deceased veterans of that war. That day in 1973 marked the completion of the withdrawal of American troops from Vietnam. And we went through the legislative process, going through the committees and everything, and got the Senate to also carry the bill. But it was a process. And so now, every year, in the end of March, I know my hometown has a event every year. And the first event that took place back in 2008, I was the guest speaker. And I got up, gave my little speech, and I saw that all the they came from all over Minnesota, Vietnam War veterans. And we had put red ribbons on their sleeve. And after I got done with my speech, I asked all the Vietnam War veterans to stand up. People were wondering, what am I doing? Then I asked everybody else, if you have a Vietnam War veteran standing next to you, would you please stand up, give them a hug, or shake their hands and welcome them home? Because that didn't happen back in the late 60s, early 70s. And so every year we have that, and there's other communities that are doing the same thing. But our allies have been a big part of bringing a lot of our men home, men and women home from that terrible war, because war is terrible. I have a son right now that's in Afghanistan, and that's his 4th deployment. There's also another date that we declared Veterans Korean War Armistice Day. The bill, and I worked on it. I was the co-author, and the author of that bill that took place also in March 2008 was Representative Dan Severson. a Navy pilot. The bill designates July 27th in each year as Korean War Armistice Day. On that date, 1953, the military armistice agreement was signed and ended the 3-year Korean War. So people, I think Minnesota is doing the right thing in a lot of these different bills that we've passed. And Representative Lee, we will get yours passed too and get it through. And I encourage the people on the committee here to take a look and how the language has changed already, to step up to the plate and sign on as a co-author. And but I do have a couple questions for you, Representative Lee. I know where your heart is. That's key, okay? And I know that there's other people you probably need to talk to. Have you talked to anybody in the Commander's Task Force, such as the Vietnam War Veterans of America? That's a group you should talk to. And you could probably connect with Jerry Kaiser or Ralph Dene that just testifies. They can get you in contact with those people. And have you contacted Commissioner Shellito, our Commissioner of Veterans Affairs? He's also a Vietnam War veteran. And do you have anything to say on those?
So, Mr. Chair, to your questions, I have not contacted these organizations or the commissioner, and I will be doing that going forward.
And if you need somebody to be there with you, just ring me up.
I
okay?
will. And Mr. Chair, just to your point earlier too, I remember our first conversation when I came by and you brought up the Veterans Korean War Armistice Day, and that's why I went back and did some research and tried to craft some language similar to that too, so that when we're honoring these individuals who have helped our U.S. Armed Forces, that it's consistent throughout the board, so that we're having everyone in there and we're not leaving anyone out.
Okay. Any other questions? Becker Flynn, Representative Becker Flynn.
Finn.
I'm
Thank you,
sorry.
Mr. Chair. So I want to thank Representative Lee. I'm also signed on as a co-author, and I want to thank the veterans, the Hmong veterans who are here today. We do a lot in this committee across the aisle, regardless of party, to make sure that we're respecting and honoring all of our veterans. And I just want to say I don't know exactly what the holdup is on this bill, and why this is kind of being treated a little bit differently than other things we've looked at in this committee. And I just think that's really unfortunate, but I recognize, Mr. Chair, your commitment to make sure that we can get this done and hopefully get this to the floor sooner than later. We talk a lot about all these bills, about how much we wish people were still alive to see us honor and recognize them. And so I just don't want to see this slowed up unnecessarily when it's really a good thing that Representative Lee is trying to do here. So I thank you for your commitment on the record here to make sure that we get this done. So
Well,
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And Representative Frank. Frank.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to commend you, Representative Lee. That day, my office is right next to the chairman's. You came by and I signed on right away. I know the passion that you have and where your heart is at. So I hope that going forward, you get what you deserve. So,
Representative Pryor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Representative Lee, for bringing this forward. Thank you, veterans, for being with us today and being part of our Pledge of Allegiance, this ceremony that we had at the beginning of the committee. And just also, I am glad to hear that there's a commitment to get this worked out and passed eventually with the right wording. And I just want to emphasize the recognition that's part of this, and I think is central to this piece of legislation. And that whatever final wording comes forward truly has words that recognize our history in Minnesota. And it's our history in Minnesota, and it's now our present and our future. as the children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren are Minnesotans going forward. And you get that accent eventually, that's part of being here and part of our state into the future. And just want to, at this time again, recognize how grateful we are. I was a child growing up during the Vietnam War and was just a little bit shy where my cohorts were being drafted and would have been part of the conflict going forward. But it's part of my history and part of my memories, and I'm honored to be here today.
Yeah, well said, Representative, and just the education piece. Most young people that are even college students today just don't remember. They haven't had maybe the history piece in our schools about the Vietnam War, and that's a big part of this too. And we can take a look at that too when it comes to putting some language together. And Representative Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And also, I'd like to thank Representative Lee for bringing this forward to help recognize the commitment of the Hmong community and the Southeast Asian community that helped out our country during the war. The Hmong population specifically made huge sacrifices out there, and very much have been impressed with how the trials that they've gone through as they've resettled after great persecution from Thailand and then eventually out into our country. One of the largest populations is in our state. And they're a very large portion of my community, and I'm very honored that be able to represent them. And I think it's very important that we continue, and I appreciate hearing from the chair the continued effort to make sure that we get this through. I know a lot of working together helped get the Hmong Veterans Memorial over here on the mall, and so I think it's very important that we follow up with this resolution as soon as possible.
And Representative Makeway.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll keep it short because it trends in line with a lot of my colleagues, but Representative Lee, thank you for bringing this bill forward, and to the veterans, thank you so much. Taking up arms for another country, there's nothing, in the spirit of democracy, to protect and defend democracy, there's nothing more American than that. And to know that those folks then came to our state and are Americans with us, there's nothing more honorable than that, and I'm really looking forward to this getting in the wording that is necessary so we can honor the Minnesotans in our state and the folks who fought alongside us to protect democracy, so thank you.
Lead Rosenthal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Representative Lee, thank you so much. And you brought this bill to me, and I signed on immediately. And thank you to all the veterans in the audience. You truly are an inspiration and saved many, many lives, and you deserve to be recognized. And we will work with the chair and the author to make sure that this happens.
Representative Lee, any closing remarks?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, members, for those words. And I think that it's extremely important to our veterans who are here, our Hmong veterans who are here with us today, to hear the words that you all have shared with me. And I look forward to working with Mr. Chair on getting some language that everyone will be able to work with and see if we could get this going forward. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And as I discussed before, this chair lays over the House File 2206.